Hey guys, so what we're going to learn about in this unit is radicals, which is things like squared roots and cubed roots. We're also going to learn how to add and subtract radicals and multiply and divide. Alright, so the first thing we're going to look at now is how to simplify a radical. Now, in my example, I have the square root of 32. And as you can see, I have the steps listed over here. The first thing that I like to do is prime factorization. So I'm just going to set up my factor tree and do my prime factorization. So 32. So I'm going to think, well, what can I divide 32 by? And I'm going to do 2, which is 16. I'm going to circle 2 because it's a prime number, meaning it's only divisible by 1 in itself. Then I'm going to break down 16. I know 16 can break down to 2 and 8. Again, I'm going to circle the 2 because 2 is a prime number. 8 can break down to 2 and 4. I'm going to circle 2 because it's a prime number. And then 4 can break down to 2 and 2. And both of those are prime numbers as well, so I'm going to circle all of them. Now I'm going to write my radical symbol, and I'm going to write all of my prime numbers. So I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 2s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I've listed out all of my prime factors, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to circle pairs. So here's a pair, and here's a pair. I'm going to pull out both of those 2's, right? So every time I circle a pair, it comes outside. So a 2 comes out, and another 2 comes out. Well, what is 2 times 2? That's 4. So now there's a 4 outside my radical, but what number was left in my radical? Well, just this 1, 2. And that's my final answer. Come and see me if you need help. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to simplify radicals, but this time there's a variable inside. But we're pretty much going to do everything exactly the same. The first thing I'm going to do is do the prime factorization of 24. So I'm going to set it up over here, 24, and I'm going to see what can I break 24 into. Well, I know it's 2 and 12. I'm going to just circle the 2 because the 2 is my only prime number. Then I can break down 12, which is 2 and 6. Again, I only circle the 2 because that's my prime number. And then I can break down 6 to 2 and 3. And I'm going to circle both of them because they're both prime numbers. Now I also, next actually I'm going to write my radical symbol. Now, I'm going to write all of the prime factors of 24, which was 1, 2, 3. There was 4 prime factors, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. But now I'm also going to break up my x to the 5th. Well, what does that mean? That means it's x times itself 5 times. So x times x times x times x times x. So I'm just going to write that out. Now I'm going to look for my pairs again, things that I can pull outside of my radical. So I'm going to circle my 2's because they're a pair, so I know a 2 is going to come outside of my radical. And then I'm also going to be able to pull out 2 x's, which is x squared. Which is going to leave me with 2x squared radical. Well, what's left inside my radical? Well, there's a 2 and a 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. So that's my final answer. Come and see me if you need help. Okay, so now it's just one step harder. As you can see, we have a coefficient now. See this number right here? That's outside of our radical. Everything else is going to be exactly the same as we saw before. First thing we're still going to do is our prime factorization. So over here, I'm going to write the 12 that I need to do the prime factors of, which is 2 and 6 and 2 and 3. Now I'm going to rewrite my radical, expanding everything, but the 5 that was outside is going to stay on the outside, so we're just going to keep it right where it was. Now I'm going to just expand my 12 into my prime factors, so I forgot to circle them, which is 2 times 2 times 3, but I need to expand my d to the third. D to the third is d times d times D, which is 3 of them. So times D, times D, times D. All right, now again, I'm going to look for my pairs just like I have in the past. I'm going to circle my 2. That's going to come outside. And I'm also going to circle my D. That's going to come to the outside. So when my 2 comes to the outside, well, what is 2 times 5? And my D times D. So 2 times 5 I know is 10. My times D is D. Radical, well, what's left inside? What's left inside is a 3 and a D. Well, what's 3 times D? Well, that's 3D. And that's my final answer. Come and see me if you need help.